This week on commadN, our first ever show on ice and our first look at the iPad. Welcome to episode 204 of commadN. I'm Amber. I'm standing here on Frenchman's Bay. It is frozen. As you can see from the car that just drove by me, we are safe here. We're here to talk about the tech headlines of the week. There is lots of news happening over the past few days, especially about Apple, so let's get started. Our headlines this week are sponsored by our friends at GoDaddy.com, who I think live in a very warm state and they should fly us down soon. If you want to buy a domain name, you can get one for just $7.49. All you have to do when you're checking out is enter the promo code COMM749. That's COMM749. If you want to get more GoDaddy promo codes, all you have to do is visit commadN.tv/GoDaddy. Our first headline of the week features the new Apple iPad. Jeff is going to do a thorough review of this device. What I wanted to do is show some of the parodies online, people making fun of the name. I, for one, am not a big fan of iPad. I think they could have thought of something a lot better than this. And it looks like the folks over at College Humor agree.
When a product comes along that appears so stupid that the ways that you can make fun of it are practically endless, it actually becomes magical.
Do we call it the iPod Jumbo? Do we create a sketch using an iPhone calling it the iPad Nano, where we suggest that the smaller one can actually make phone calls? I mean, the options are limitless.
We could also make puns, like calling it the I paid too much, or just saying that this is what people in Boston have been calling iPods for years.
A lot of people are talking about the iPad as an ebook killer, and some good news for ebooks. Amazon has just reported that for every 6 Kindle books that are sold, there are 10 physical books of the same title sold. So this is some pretty amazing stats. Now, some people have said that it's really hard to verify this and Amazon might be fudging the numbers a little bit. Nonetheless, it looks as though ebooks are definitely here to stay. This poor man is quickly turning into an internet meme. The TTC employee, which is Toronto's public transit, was snapped while sleeping. So this just is a message to all of you out there who want to snooze on the job. You definitely shouldn't, because anyone could have a cell phone camera and take this picture and spread it online. Now, not only did people take this photo, but as you can see, they have also created many interesting Photoshop variations. To celebrate the recent Data Privacy Day, Microsoft has revealed a study reporting that 70% of employers decided not to hire employees because they found information online that they found offensive. So to all of you out there who like to post personal pictures on Facebook and on Twitter and elsewhere, you want to be a little bit careful if you're hunting for a job. To all my friends out there who work in the news business, you're going to love this video. This is Charlie Brooker describing how a news story comes to be. And having worked in the newsroom, I must admit that it's very accurate.
Another bit of dull visual abstraction to plug another gap now before the report segues gracefully into a bit of human interest courtesy of some dowdy man opening letters in a kitchen and explaining how he's been affected by the issue. Last time I looked, this video had more than 600,000 views. Now let's check in with Jeff in Halifax, who I hope is a lot warmer than I am.
Hi, I'm Jeff MacArthur. For this week's segment, I'm going to do a spotlight giving you guys my thoughts on the iPad, which was launched last week and there's been a ton of buzz about beforehand. Everyone's probably seen it. You can go to apple.com to look at specs. I'm just going to talk about 5 different points that have occurred to me over the launch period and subsequent discussions. So first of all, for all you people that are complaining about the iPad being just a big iPhone, yeah, it's very much like a big iPhone. It's like a big version of the most advanced piece of consumer electronics ever released, something that has been adopted unbelievably quickly, something that a lot of other producers are still playing catch up on, and that has redefined a product category. So I don't think it's so bad that the iPad seems like a big iPhone. A lot of the buttons are the same, the controls. However, you've got an iPhone with a 9.7-inch screen with a 178-degree viewing angle. That's got to be a perk. A 10-hour battery life. It's got a revamped UI that I think is showing the next step towards touch OSs, and will be worked into more mainstream OSs in the future. And it's $500. It's actually cheaper than some iPhones. Secondly, is it better than the Kindle? No, it's probably not better than the Kindle for straight up reading. If you're talking about reading through a novel, the e-ink has a lot of advantages to it. However, it's going to make just a fine reader. It's going to change, I think, the way we do layout for this kind of interactive reading, which the web has already done to a large degree, but there's more to be done there. The fact that Apple has come out and used the EPUB standard, which the Kindle doesn't, meaning that it's very open in terms of the books you can buy and share, is obviously a plus. The iBookstore thing is just filling in a third pillar. You've got Apple having taken over the music industry. They're making decent strides in video, TV, and movies. And so printed material was left out. Well, printed material is not left out anymore. The iBookstore, I'm sure, will expand to include subscriptions for magazines and newspapers. There will almost certainly be a kind of text podcast, I would think, for independent creators to sort of hawk their wares there. Now, something that I think that a lot of people have not talked much about is the fact that these AT&T contracts really are pointing to some very forward thinking by telco companies, which are not people we're used to thinking forward about. 250 megabytes for $15 a month, or unlimited for $30 with no contract, cancel anytime, free use of AT&T Wi-Fi spots. Other people will jump on this train, and thank heavens, because this is the kind of infrastructure we need to make these devices really, really work. And that rolls into my fourth point. You know, missing camera, no external connection, small storage, multitasking, blah, blah, blah. Guys, this is Apple. If you haven't been following them, you gotta understand that that first iteration of a product always leaves stuff out. So, you know, the camera, there's no doubt there's going to be a camera, a front-facing camera for video conferencing in the version 2 of the iPad. At that point, I'll just give my old iPad to my mom. No external connection. Again, it's the company that killed floppies and DVDs. The connection is your wireless connection, and that's why that infrastructure is so important to be developed. The fact that Apple has gone ahead and developed their own hard keyboard and a dock and a stand and all this, it shows how seriously they take this product. They don't want to wait for third-party producers to address those needs, and there are needs for all of those things depending on what you're doing with the iPad. You're not going to want to do a lot of typing on it, and Bluetooth 2.0, so you can use external keyboards that you already have, including the Apple one. Finally, apps. There's been so much news about apps and developers complaining about the App Store process and how you can't make money and all this. So a few things about the apps in the iPad. Almost all the current apps will work on the iPad. You can pixel double to get full screen size off those traditional apps. New apps will be written custom for the iPad, and Apple has already done this with the iWork suite, which I think the most important thing about is that it has a $10 price point. People can probably start to make some money at $10 instead of 99 cents in the App Store. So I think this is probably setting the price point for these richer iPad apps, and that's got to be welcome news for developers. All of these things rolled together make me kind of puzzled at the reaction there's been from the iPad. I get that people like complaining about things, and that's a lot of how things get done on the web, it seems, and there are things to complain about, but it's kind of missing the forest for the trees. I don't have any doubt that the iPad will end up being the default computer for a lot of people in the future. It does just what people want for low-power users, where they can surf the web, they can type some emails, they can manage their photos, watch some movies, all this stuff. That is what a computer is becoming. We've gone a long way from those old beige boxes, and it isn't just about the hardware, it's about how we use computers. And the iPad, I think, is all about how people are starting to really use computers. That's all for this week. I'm Jeff MacArthur. Enjoy.
Boy, is it cold out here. Our web pick of the week is from Twitter user Rhythm7A. He sent me a link to woorank.com, which is a very cool site that will analyze the stats on your website. So it will tell you how effective your website is, and it will spit out a bunch of information, including information about traffic to your site and lots of other valuable tidbits. The best part about the site is it works very quickly and it's also free. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of commadN. It's been a fun one. I have to say this is probably the coldest commadN ever, but it's been a good time, and we hope that it warms up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.